It's June, and the GRC laws that are going on with AI are a great indication of the current status of AI. Let's get into this. In 2025, December, the Trump administration put forth an executive order called the Ensuring a National Policy Framework for Artificial Intelligence. And their aim was to do like a preemptive strike against states that were trying to put their own state level AI in place, which is just weird because in the US, if you didn't know, each state has their own variations of things like healthcare laws, financial laws, and it's because each state kind of some are lean towards more agricultural issues and that are just special to their state because of the climate or whatever. And then some might have a huge lobby for oil because they extract oil. Some states don't do oil, so they don't really have laws for that. So each state has to have their own laws in order to maintain order. So it's just weird that the federal governments try to step in and say, hey, we don't want you to have your own laws for AI. Don't restrict it because we're trying to make it grow. It's just a little bit strange. That said, some people loved it. So let's get into some of the laws that are going on right now. So I'm going to start off with my own state, Colorado. Colorado had a state law that was passed in 2024 called Colorado Artificial Intelligence Act. And it was like landmark legislation that was designed to protect consumers from algorithmic discrimination with high risk AI systems. If there was a system that was biased on certain things, the algorithm was set in a certain way, it would crack down on that. And that was supposed to take action in this year, 2026, this month, as a matter of fact, June. So it's recently changed this and they gutted the bill. They took the algorithmic discrimination piece out and they focused it in on what's called automated decision making technology or ADMT. It now pushes it from June 2026 all the way into January 2027. And it focuses on consequential decisions like employment, housing, healthcare, finance. They put a human in the loop and they make sure that the organizations that are using AI to make these types of decisions on human care and human issues, it has a human in the loop and they have to take a record of that. It's reminiscent of the EU's AI Act, which also focused on healthcare, safety, and making sure that people's rights aren't stepped on by AI. But it goes way farther. It goes into remote biometrics, critical infrastructure, education, and vocational. It does serve EU citizens, but that portion of high risk hasn't been fully enacted yet. And now they've kicked the can down the road to 2027. Then you've got Connecticut, who also is focused on safety protocols for frontier models and specifically for whistleblowers. And they're they're focused on automated employment hiring so that there's no discrimination against those applicants and the companion chatbot safeguards on for minors. And that takes effect in October 2026. You got California, who has the AI Transparency Act, and they're going to make it so that you have to have watermarks on AI content so that hopefully you can minimize the deep fakes. You've got free public AI content detection tools. These are pushed out the same day as the EU Act, which is August 2026. So, EU Act that for their high risk items for safety protocols, healthcare protocols, and protecting of people's rights against AI. All that stuff goes out August 2026, and then so does California's AI Transparency Act. If you want to know more about these acts, you can go ahead and check out these. I'll put searchable information here that you can go ahead and look at for yourself if you're interested in knowing more about the state AI laws, the EU laws. I think the EU laws come up so often because they're way ahead of the US and way ahead of the rest of the world as far as what regulations are needed to protect citizens. And you can see that the further we get into use of AI, the more we can see that the biggest vulnerability is the people. And the EU has focused on protecting people's rights rather than just protecting the company's rights. Speaking of the EU, the G7 is happening right now. And the main topics that they talked about was AI. And their main focus was giving the world's wealthiest and most powerful governments access to US AI models, widening access to trusted partners. So they'll have, say, France, UK, and I don't know, Germany getting access to some of those frontier models that have been restricted, like Mythos, where they're restricted to other countries and to our enemies. There was some talk about using the AI models to protect and develop cybersecurity against Chinese models that are getting more and more prevalent. Another thing is that Anthropic, OpenAI, and Meta AI were all there, as along with some other key giant companies that had representatives there to, I don't know, enrich themselves or get in good with different countries. France was talking directly to China right before the G7 talks, and in talks with them about use of their AI technology. And I think they use that as leverage against the US to say, hey, we have other opportunities. We could just talk to them. We could just work with them. You're not the only game in town here. Minerals that are used for creation of the AI infrastructure. To create the semiconductors, China is best at extracting those minerals that you need to make those semiconductors. Of all the G7 countries, you can see that the US has almost 80% of the top AI companies. And then in second place being the United Kingdom with 7%, and then France, Germany with 4%. So the US is really dominant on AI companies, and the EU has been kind of reevaluating their dependence, and so is Canada. They're having to reevaluate their dependence on both the US and China because it's getting kind of ridiculous when your leader is imposing different things on you that you might not agree with. One of the things that recently happened in the news with AI is Fable and Mythos being shut down by the government for national security reasons. And this much government control has sparked a market movement towards the use of more local AIs as a solution. And there's only going to be more consolidation of power with AI companies because OpenAI and Anthropic are about to go public here real soon in the next few weeks. And they're definitely going to start consolidating even more power, and more government control and government oversight will be put on them to shut down new Mythos type models and models above them. And these models are getting so powerful there that they're going to have to actually. And the solution more and more has been open source solutions, and those right now they're dominated by the Chinese. They're the ones releasing creating really good models and then just releasing them to the public, putting them out there on as a public for public consumption. You could just right now download any model that's as good as some of the new models that came out. They're way better than, say, GPT-4 or GPT-3 or something like that. Way better that you can run on your system, and they're just getting better and better. It's just interesting to look at the global distribution of AI companies, where AI, even including China, the US has 34% of the global distribution of AI companies across the world. Most people are using the US models rather than the Chinese models. If you look at the AI patents, most AI patents based off this data from 2024, China has almost half the world's AI patents. And the only way you can compare it is to compare it to the rest of the world. The top AI researchers based off of undergraduate degrees is China's. And that you might be thinking like, well, what does that mean? It's a big indication of who's going to actually control the future. Because if you look at the 1890s, the US's Gilded Age was when the first time the US had an industrial revolution. They had the most patents of any country at that time. And then that's when they overtook the UK as the world power. I remember 1985, Japan's technology took over. Japan had things from Sony Walkman, video games, musical instruments. There was all these amazing technologies that were coming out of Japan in the mid to early 1980s. That was coming from Japan. They had the most patents at that time. I think that there's something happened to their economy like in the 90s that jacked up their finances, but at that time, 1980s was Japan's time, that's for sure. So I think that the AI market at this point in time, even though the most money and resources are being put into the US, I think that China is really on the rise. And I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I just think that at some point, China may end up overtaking, or at least Southeast Asia will end up overtaking the US as the world's power, is especially in AI. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know what that means to what happens to us as humanity. You guys like this type of stuff, make sure you like and subscribe, check it out. And also, if you're wanting to continue this conversation with me and other people in our community, you can go to login.convocourses.com and you can have a chat with us at any time. If you guys are interested in learning about GRC, security for AI, and all those different topics, then join us on ConvoCourses.com. I right now have a special course going out there if you're interested in becoming a federal GRC person, what we call an information system security officer. I've got this right here where you can talk directly to me. You get a downloadable book. You can go on your own time. There's 8 hours of step-by-step videos that's walking you through the NIST 800 process. If you're interested in, that's really my specialty. But if you just want to join the conversation, you can also just go to Convo Courses. You can also just go to login.convocourses.com totally for free and join us there. All right, guys, see you on the next one.